Alright, hello everyone. I'm back with a video here. I am going to be animating this little electric flash, so sort of an effects animation for this attack here. I didn't quite set the duration length of these frames yet, so I'm actually going to do that real quick. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to move these frames over and make the duration of the attack a little bit longer. Actually, hold on, because I don't know how long the attack should be. Yeah, I think it should be a little bit longer than that for now until I can get the effect animation set. Yeah, and I do have an interesting topic to talk about today, and that is perfection in mind and thought. Now, I'm kind of going through this interesting phase in life where the idea of perfection to me is being treated as something attainable, because when most people say nobody's perfect, you know, that seems obvious, but perfection is something that can be pursued, and it really depends on what it is you're perfecting. But I watched this kind of wildlife documentary talking about the evolution of like animals and stuff. By the way, I have to remember, don't get lost in the topic here. And also I have to remember to keep the same color that I had in my history. And make sure I'm on the right layer here. We're going to go up here. Okay, that is our effects layer. And yeah, I'm just going to try to go with the flow here and animate this electric blast here. So, in this wildlife documentary, it's really cool. It's on Netflix. It's called Life on Our Planet, narrated by Morgan Freeman. His voice sounds like he's getting pretty old, but he's doing a good job doing voice acting still. But it goes over like the history of the world, the Earth, and I like it as opposed to other wildlife documentaries because it's really interesting for two reasons. One, it's produced by ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, who does, they do all the graphics in like pretty much every blockbuster movie that we see, Avengers and all that, Transformers, whatever. ILM. So they created this super realistic looking like videos of dinosaurs and deep sea animals, and sometimes there's videos where you can't, parts of the film where you can't even tell if it's real or not. Like if they're modern like sea animals, you can't tell if it's like a video or just like some kind of 3D render, because the lighting is so pristine, the textures and everything are so clean. So pretty much what I'm going to be doing with these lines is like taking each one and just sort of like making them a little bit cleaner rather than like a small sketchy line, and maybe changing the sizes and stuff, creating some variation in there. I don't want these to look too smooth as if they're rays of light. This is going to be electricity, so I kind of want that to be felt already. So maybe like spark type shapes. Yeah, more like that. Okay. So the reason I brought up that documentary is because a couple times there was mention where these certain animals are referred to as like near perfect, like just the sheer optimization of their body shape and the function of like where they live and what they do. The two examples being dragonflies and sharks. The bodies of sharks, they actually follow the I don't remember what the term is in like fluid dynamics, but like if your body is perfectly aerodynamic, or liquid dynamic or whatever you call it, it's gonna take a certain shape. It's gonna, I think, it's called the drag coefficient. I think that's what it's called, where your shape is gonna be perfectly just perfect to like, I don't know, the resistance of water or something. I know that airplanes and boats and race cars are all designed with the drag coefficient in mind. And sharks' bodies actually, I think sharks and like I forgot what else, like tuna or sardines or whatever. I know all fish in some way try to like allocate their DNA's energy, to body shape, to like the strength of bones and fins and stuff like that. But the way Morgan Freeman in that documentary describes sharks is that they're near perfect. Same with dragonflies, in the way that, and I guess for me, one evidence of like that near perfection is the fact that their designs haven't changed in hundreds of millions of years. I think that seems to me like decent evidence, decent like demonstrable evidence that their bodies are near perfection, because the nature, the nature of evolution cannot seem to come up with improvements. There are weird sharks like hammerheads and stuff, and all shapes and sizes of big sharks, small sharks, great white sharks. But in general, the general shape is like very similar between all sharks, and that's because they've evolved, their teeth and the drag coefficient and all sorts of things. Their jaws, all that. So, that said, one of the reasons I am interested in this idea of perfection is because it's a specific gospel reading where Jesus says, "Be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect," and that really got to me because I live my life as a hugely imperfect life, a lot of mistakes, a lot of sins, and a lot of pain, And I guess as a response to that, I'm very interested in this idea of like, what does it mean to be perfect, or even to pursue perfection? And I've talked about that in previous videos. But in this particular video, I want to talk about perfection of the mind and thought. So there's some science. I'm not a neuroscientist, but they say that the brain generates thousands, like 5,000 to 6,000 random thoughts every day. They're unconscious thoughts. Like I can't personally remember like thousands of thoughts throughout my day, so I don't know what that statistic really means. But I do know that a lot of my thoughts are like erroneous, especially with my past life. Like a lot of them are like useless thoughts, memories of things that are just no longer useful to me. In fact, memories of things that could be detrimental to my life, if even just giving my brain the energy to think about them. And I know that in some way it feels like it's uncontrollable, thoughts and memories. Like, what control do I have over that random generation of 5,000 to 6,000 thoughts? But I do think, and they talk about this in like, I don't know, science fiction or fantasy or whatever, training the mind. What does that mean? How can one do that? So I think for me, there are ways. Like I do pray every day, and prayer helps me kind of focus my thoughts on certain goals and aspirations I have. Maybe less goals and aspirations, but rather, wanting to align myself with the will of God, who is perfect. So that's one thing, and I have a lot of kind of long prayers that I do every day. That they're petitionary prayer, but also like thoughts to like master myself. In one of my videos, I talked about what it means to be the perfect artist, and that video got some, it got some views. And in that video, I talked about like, what would it be like for an artist to, without even a sketch, to just get your lines and strokes in the right place every time, just perfectly pre-visualize, and your hand follows your brain. So how much more efficient could a person be if their mind was, I guess you could say, under control? One example I've talked about before is someone like Steph Curry, where I don't think he's some kind of monk with mastery of the mind, but he is a master of the 3-point shot. He is one of the greatest shooters in the history of the NBA, and how did he do it? He got those reps in. He had his dad, Del Curry, who was probably teaching him how to shoot 3-point shots when he was a kid. He had that mentorship. He had that practice. And one thing, I don't know if it was Steph or Michael Jordan who said this, but they've attempted more shots than we've ever taken, right? I haven't played that much basketball. I'm sure I've taken maybe 1,000 shots in my lifetime, but Steph will probably attempt 1,000 shots, like maybe in a day or two of training. So, and how many of those are going to make, and how many of those is he going to miss? The quote is, "I've missed 1,000 shots than you've ever taken." I think that's Michael Jordan. Or I missed more shots than most people have ever taken. Something like that. Some kind of quote like that. So the trial and error and scientific method approach to things is very good. And trying to build principles off of that. So for me, thinking about this, to perfect my mind, I can think about, what are some things that kind of are bothersome as far as thoughts go. One of them being memories of video games. Like I used to really love video games, and I was just obsessed, and it became an addiction, a legitimate addiction. And I was competitive in these games, and I would try to win these tournaments, but it became my life. It consumed my life. The word consumed is not a stretch of the imagination at all. It really did consume my life. But it came to the point where even now that I have been sober from gaming for like a year, a little bit more than a year now, I haven't played a single video game. At least like not in the way I used to. I think I touched Crossy Road on my work Apple TV one time, but beyond that, I don't even remember if I've like touched any game. And I'm really careful about it. But the thing is, I was so in tuned and ingrained with these games, Pokemon, Street Fighter, Tetris. I played for so many hours, League of Legends, Super Smash Bros, that they are ingrained into my body and my mind, and the images and frames of the game, I can see them in my mind. I can play the games in my mind, even without being able to see the game in front of me. So let me actually just see what kind of effect this is having just on the shape. Yeah, I think that looks good. So I think the initial blast is nice, but I think these last couple frames, it's a little bit too slow. So here. So here, I think it should already kind of disperse. So I'm going to erase these. And I want like a lingering electricity like right in the middle. So from here, I'm going to like using the red shapes, the red onion skins. I'm just going to let them kind of splash out already. And then we're going to get some electricity to linger here in the middle. Maybe just like little zappy sparks. I don't know the right words here. This is totally animator language. Zappy sparks. I don't remember exactly what I was talking about, but going back to perfection of mind and thought. I was addicted to video games, and it happens fairly often where I will just remember the images from a game, and then my brain, because it was my habit back then, will start strategizing. And it's like I don't even play these games anymore, and I'm just coming up with new ideas, like as if I'm gonna use them for something, but I'm not. And why can't my brain just automatically do that with something else that's useful? Something like I cook every day, so even something as simple as cooking, why can't my brain just automatically come up with ideas in that space? Well, the thing is, even though I cook, nearly every day, I didn't become like I guess an expert at it, or I wouldn't say master. Maybe at some things, maybe at some games I became a master, but rather just expert would be the word. And I'm kind of a greenhorn cook. I cook pretty often, and learning a lot of the principles, especially with recipes and online YouTube chefs, and getting better at that. But I don't see cooking in my mind. I'm sure Gordon Ramsay will have dreams of cooking, like since he's a master. And that's something that's why I want to find something to occupy my mind with. Not that I don't have these things, but okay. Firstly, here's the thing with addiction, like with behaviors like that. You want to replace the behaviors once you've eliminated them. So we can talk about two things. We can talk about elimination of the random thoughts, but also replacement, and they both kind of have to happen hand in hand. I'm just gonna get a couple pieces to like disperse here, just like that, and we'll play it back. We'll see how it looks. We'll remove this last one here that was a little bit extra. Okay, let's look at this. Yeah, I think this last one does not need to be there. Yeah, this one is already it like slowed down. So let's look at this. Yeah, that looks better. I think we can get these lines a little bit more thin also. This one here, get a little bit more thin. And up here, yeah, that looks good. And then I want to do like lingering electricity. So right here, I will put like a little bit of like lighter. You know what? We'll use the same color. Wait, actually, because I don't know if you can alpha lock. Can you alpha lock these frames? Can you? What mask? You can mask. Okay, so what does that do? And then if I start doing this, will I? How does this work? It doesn't operate similarly to Procreate mask. How does this work? So that doesn't work. If I go back to the layer, so layer mask, if I'm in there, what does that mean? Kind of interrupting my topic here, but kind of discovering something new, and as I'm always kind of discovering new things in this new app. This layer mask invert, what does that mean? Invert? Does that mean if I make a new layer over it? No? What if I put a layer below it? No, that doesn't go either. Huh. I have to look up how layer masks work in Procreate because this doesn't seem very intuitive. I'm just going to delete the mask and yeah, we might just pick the colors, I guess. Let's go ahead and go with like a light neon green blue, and we'll use this color for the electricity. So I think we're going to go even smaller in the Studio Pen. Let's make it like pretty small, 1%. Is that too small? Oh, I'm drawing in the layer mask. Huh. What is this even doing? Okay, whatever. Okay, there we go. So we're going to take the Studio Pen. We're going to just do some electric effects here. And this will like sort of linger. I'm not sure if I'm going to do some repeating frames. This might kind of look ugly. Here, I think this is how we'll do it. We'll do a shape, and then put electric lines kind of inside it. Yeah, maybe. Maybe a shape like this, and just sort of refine it as we go. It's a little bit cartoony, but we'll use it. We'll experiment with this for now. Yeah. Just kind of let it fizz for a little bit. Let's do another one here. And then I guess we'll let it like dissipate. Something like this. Let's try it. And then it will like kind of go out this way. Like a double blast. Let's see. that looks pretty okay. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. This one's a little bit too thick, so let's maybe erase some pieces out of that. Okay, so continuing with my topic, can the mind be trained so that one can be in control of his thoughts? And I know it takes like, it would be a combination of like body and mind, you know, some kind of practice, but maybe maybe not though. Maybe just the mind can be mastered in such a way where the thoughts and memories are under more control, where one can sort of rewire the brain, so that these images that are kind of plaguing me are just no longer bothering me. I don't know if this is possible. I don't know if there's a lot of research on it, but honestly, I feel like it's something I can just experiment with myself, like replacing trains of thought, like replacing the thoughts that are randomly generated, by like maybe brute forcing it at first, where okay, I don't want to think that, I want to think this instead, and then make that a pattern. I don't know how much has been, you know, researched with this kind of thing, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give it a shot. Okay, so we're gonna bring the Studio Pen up a little bit so I can sort of fill in these spaces, because the color drop tool, it's too many little holes here, so we'll just shade it in. Okay, let's fill this one, fill this one, and then they're going to dissipate here. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, that's not bad. And maybe another little spark right here, and then they disappear. That's not bad. Okay, so I think this should have like kind of like a background to it. Because I saw it in Ibuki's Raida animation, where I think this should have like maybe even some opacity to it. I'm not sure. Let's put another layer in here below, and let's just fill it with this light electricity color. Let's get like a little circle inside it. I'm not sure how much time I have left, but I do want to continue with this topic because it's something I want to like actually try to do, you know. I don't know if it's possible. It's probably, but if there's a concept, you know, it might be possible. And maybe this is what monks and stuff are trying to do, you know, when they train the mind. This color is not great. It's very blue, but we'll play with it. We'll play with it. I was thinking more along the lines of a white, but we can always brush it in later. And then I guess after this video, I can sort of send feedback to the commissioner and ask like, how does these effects look? I'm not really great with effects animation. Don't have a whole lot of experience. So here I could even, well, I want to figure out layer masks. Okay. Okay. So maybe we'll take a look at layer masks before we move on to the next video. Yeah, I got about 30 seconds left here. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep playing it back and see how it looks. I think that it could be larger for sure. Maybe in this second frame, we'll go in here and pick that color and really just make it larger. You know what we'll do? We'll do outlines. Okay, that's my timer. So we'll keep talking about this in the next video. I'll talk to you guys later. God bless. Bye bye.